when they won the Copa America, they beat the defending champions. When they won the World Cup, they beat the world champions. When they won the Finalissima, they beat the European champions.
And they did.
Argentina in 2010 would have given Spain a very difficult game.
I was saying, we played Spain after the World Cup and we smoked them 4-1. Messi scored a brace.
Let's just play a game, hypothetical game. If Argentina win this in style and so forth, better dynasty than the Spain dynasty?
Hell no.
From 08 to 2012? 87.
Hell no.
I don't know what that one.
That's a tough one.
So if they win it in style. Messi goes crazy, and you look at how they won that World Cup, specifically that World Cup final. You look at what Messi did in the Copa America. What would you just in terms of how impressively? Because I know that Copa America is tricky because there are less teams, there are more teams in Europe. But when you just look at what they did and how they did
the unbeaten record.
So basically, sorry, which would be the better dynasty, Argentina or Spain? If Argentina win this Copa America in style,
that's a tricky one, honestly. It kind of depends really on the context. I mean, you're saying that they win dominate in the way they do, but like,
yes,
how many goals? How many goals would you say like in let's say in the final? How many goals were you saying?
No. Let's just say that they win it in style. So they win the final 2-0, 3-0. Messi is the best player, and they're easily the best team. When you just look at what they've done in these few years, would you say that they would have been this would be a much more impressive run than Spain's run?
I don't know. It's tough to say. I still think the Spain one's going to be hard to beat.
I could actually argue this.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's actually more of a conversation. I know. Look, a lot of the times we're glorifying based on nostalgia what the Spain team accomplished. And they accomplished great things. Don't get me wrong, but let's not try to act like in that time. I don't know how old some of you guys were, but I was old enough to understand. A lot of people said Spain were really boring.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to make that
boring.
Point. And to be fair, it's for me. I'll give them 2012.
That's
always
true.
In 2010, those guys were freaking boring.
I'll
give them 2012.
Now look, 2012. I think it's because the way they peaked on that dynasty, which is the 2012 team, which they played spectacular. They dominated, especially in that final against Italy. That was their peak moment, right? To be honest, I think Argentina's peak moment was the World Cup. I think that was their peak moment. Now, if you look at who they beaten, I actually think Argentina's titles are more impressive because when they won the Copa America, they beat the defending champions. When they won the World Cup, they beat the world champions. When they won the Finalissima, they beat the European champions.
And they did it stylishly.
And
they did it too. Yeah, they did it stylishly.
And they beat harder teams to get to the World Cup final, I feel like.
So,
He's not lying.
So in this Copa America, I mean, they're the defending champions, so they're actually not going to be able to beat a defending champion. I mean, this is the thing, though. If they win, it just obviously is completely hypothetical.
Yeah, hypothetical. It's hypothetical. But
on the fact that if they were to win, all right? If they win, I don't think Argentina's dynasty ends there. I'm not saying they'll win the next World Cup because I don't think so. I think they can be somewhat competitive. But they could win another Copa America with the current generation they have. Right?
Okay, so actually,
they could go on a run.
So let me bring in ranking. So rank, preach for your boys, support your boys. So if you guys win this in style, do you agree that no, we can either be the same as that Spain dynasty or even better than that Spain dynasty if you win this Copa America in style based on the kind of run you've had?
Obviously, I'm coming from a very biased perspective. I always try to be as objective as possible when I talk about football, but it's very hard for me to comment on the fact. I feel like Ricardo was saying, it would be more impressive when you look at the run that Argentina had in those tournaments and the matter in that we did it. In the World Cup, we pretty much, except for the Saudi Arabia, even that we dominated. We dominated pretty much every game that World Cup. Like France didn't have a single shot until the 70th minute in that final. They were nowhere to be seen. There was only one team on the pitch that final until Mbappe decided to show up. So no, but for real. I feel like what Argentina would be doing would be even more impressive when you look at the context. We were coming from the complete dumpster fire that was 2018 under Sampaoli, and we come with an interim manager who no one knows about, like Scaloni. And when you look at the team that Argentina has, obviously they are all fantastic players, but when you compare it to the Spain squad, like if you were to make a combined 11, I feel like very few players from Argentina actually make that 11. But the cohesive unit that Scaloni has created is even more impressive than that Spanish team, even when all the individual talent that Spain had. And that is the merit of Scaloni and his genius, that he managed to create a team around Messi like no other coach managed to do before. With all the experience that we had and with all the great players we had, nobody created a team around Messi like Scaloni did. And just I know the style of play, the gegenpressing, the counter-attacking, this Argentina team has everything, has played every single style.
I was gonna mention that. I was gonna mention that this Argentina team, on a tactical point of view, is far more flexible than that Spanish team was. That Spanish team, if somebody could contest with them, they had no plan B.
And also, the point is that no one could contest with them.
But they did, because what happened in 2009?
If you look at that World Cup, what were the teams that gave Spain the biggest difficulty? Chile and Paraguay. Because look at that World Cup, the teams are defining, and I always said to myself that, because you know what, styles make fights. Germany, they ran through them. Argentina in 2010 would have given Spain a very difficult game, because stylistically that was something that would have really scored Spain issues. I know it's also Maradona only wants to get it, but let's say if you compare this Argentina team now,
you do know that Argentina packed Spain after that World Cup.
They did.
They fucking smoked them like 4-1 or something like that.
So rank, go for a rank.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Like Ricardo was saying, we played Spain after the World Cup and we smoked them 4-1. Messi scored a brace. So, like, stylistically, of course.
Let's not forget the big USA also packed them in the Confederations Cup. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of nostalgia when it comes to the Spanish national team.
Because I just feel like, I feel like when you look at that Spain team, they were amazing for the dominance that they had. And they were amazing.
And the players.
And the players as well. But I always thought, because I remember watching it closely, and I said to myself that these guys can get beat. It's just that the teams they're facing specifically, I think that Spain team had Europe on lock. I just felt that if that Spain team had faced a Brazil or an Argentina, seeing how many issues they had with South American sides, stylistically, a South American side that's more physical, more direct, doesn't need to keep possession of the ball and plays a lot faster.
Well,
we saw that. We literally saw that. We literally saw that in the 2013 Confederations. Brazil fucking smoked Spain.
And the World Cup final. Remember that Dutch team was 11 thugs. Yes. They played like a South End, bro. If my bald goat Robin didn't miss his chance, they would have been World Cup winners. So
it really was.
No. But see, now we're having this comment because I think we started this conversation that Spain went. But when you just think about, for me, like when you just think about it, because I was going to say that the better dynasty, that Spain were better, but I think that what Argentina did is much more impressive because there's much more dot and doy in what Argentina have done, specifically in terms of beating Brazil in Brazil with Neymar and beating France, the defending champions, in the World Cup final. So what Argentina have done is impressive. But let's just put that to our side. This Argentina team, 2012 Spain against that World Cup Argentina team, you've got a game. Because as good as that Spain team has, that Argentina team has a Messi and have a style of a play that I think that can cause that Spain team issues. So I think we'd actually have a game.
I agree with you, HH. I also think, though, I think when it comes to Argentina, obviously we're predicting, right? We don't know if they're going to win it yet or not. It's highly likely that they will, but they could even do something. I mean, I don't think they'll win it because it's hard. It's hard to go back-to-back, but they could do something in 2026. But also, to add to your point about Spain, like struggling against South American teams, I think with Spain, they struggle. I don't know why, but maybe they just struggle against, because they even recently just lost to Colombia. I think what it is like what you said, the physicality. But something you also didn't say is that the technicality of South American teams, like even the lowest of low, they are pretty technical at times. Like the players are really good with their feet, similar to a Spain, and it's just a little different. Whereas a lot of teams in Europe might play the opposite. Like an old Germany team may have been just far different, you know, more direct, more about pace and power. But I mean, now Germany's completely different. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
All right.
I think it's definitely an argument, though.